God has plans to prosper you, give you hope and a future too. So let me remind you of what you have the power to do.
You've been on a journey, trying to find your way. Like the sun, you're rising, 'cause today's your day to unlock every gift inside. Let your potential flow. Don't let anybody kill your vibe. Time to bust up and show. Gotta keep on reaching, keep believing. Act like you know you can win. Live your dreams, reach your goals. Be happy, you can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra. We've got wellness, church by phone. You don't even have to leave your home to be inspired. To rise a little higher with Cassandra. They said you'd never make it, but you're still here. Kept on pushing through all your doubts and fears. Never let a hater see you sweat. Remember who you are. When they go low, let them reap what they sow while you go far. Gotta keep on reaching, keep believing. Baby, shine like a star. You can win, live your dreams, reach your goals. Be happy, you can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra. If you got haters, they gon' hate. Keep your head up and just be great. It's your season, your winning season with Cassandra. Rise up, time to get on your grind. Go after your dreams, no time to fall behind. Push till the end and never give in. It's your winning season, get ready to win. Keep moving forward and never look back. It's time to get motivated with Cassandra Mack. You can win, live your dreams, reach your goals. Be happy, you can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra Mack. We've got wellness, church by phone. You don't even have to leave your home to be inspired. To rise a little higher with Cassandra Mack.
Today we're talking about why your excellence triggers so much rage and hostility among people in your orbit. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share if you find value here. Let's get this channel to 100,000 subscribers. I know with your support, we can reach that goal. If these videos have been helpful, let me know in the comments. If you are a member of the channel, part of the Wellness Club, the Insiders Club, the Leaders Circle, how is that going for you? What are some of the benefits you're getting out of being part of that? If you've read any of my books or have any of my inspirational merch, which one do you have and how has it helped you? Let me know in the comments section. So, a lot of times when you are a person who is pursuing excellence, I didn't say perfection, nobody's perfect, but you are pursuing excellence. You are, showing up, trying to do your best. You're not out here trying to hurt anybody. You're living your life, following your dreams, pursuing your path, trying to achieve your goals, not out here trying to do any harm to anybody, yet you're wondering why you are being met with so much hostility and hate, especially when you do what you do well. And you often see this at the job when one person has a skill set that outperforms their coworkers, or when one person just does what they got to do at work. They come to work on time, they do their job, they mind their business, they don't get caught up in office politics. They're aware of the office politics, they know how to read the room, but they don't get caught up in that. They don't maliciously gossip about other employees. They just there to get their paycheck, get their money, serve their clients and customers well, and go home. You will have coworkers who hate you for that because of your spirit of excellence. And oftentimes when we think of envy, people tend to limit envy to envying someone's material possessions, envying the way somebody looks, envying somebody's talent, when those are all, of course, things that people envy. But people can envy your relationship. They could envy your joy. They can envy your peace. And today we're focusing on people who envy somebody's spirit of excellence. And not only do you see this in the workplace, you see this as young as when we are in school, particularly in high school. We see this in middle school, and you'll see this in the older grades of elementary school, but you really start to see the sheer ugliness of this in high school, because high school, particularly as you get to the 12th grade, right, you are creating a pathway for adulthood, and you begin to see where your path is going, right? When you're getting college acceptance letters, your peers know that you are going to go on to college, or maybe you're going on to a trade school. Maybe you are working part-time while you were going to school. And so a lot of times you will hear stories, and I've heard plenty of them, of students who get good grades, who are respectful towards the teacher, while the other students are cutting up, being disrespectful, won't take their headphones off, will pull out their phone as if they're running the classroom. And you have a student who puts away the phone, does what they're supposed to do, focuses on their work, turns their homework in on time, studies for their tests and pass their tests, and other students bully them mercilessly. And so you begin to see that envy, and you will hear other students, you're not better than me. You think you all of that. You think you so much better. You think you this. As if you are supposed to want the absolute worst for yourself. As if you are supposed to think that you are lower than a roach. And so when you are pursuing excellence and you have people around you who are in a space of being mediocre, what begins to happen is your excellence highlights their mediocrity. And so they will be merciless with you. So don't be surprised when that happens. And I would imagine for those of you who can think back to your high school years, particularly if you were the type of student who, you pursued excellence. You turned your homework in on time. You did what you were supposed to do, and you were teased. And I will never forget, this is a true story in my own life. I maybe was about 10, 11 at the time, maybe 12, somewhere around them. And I was the new kid in Sunday school class. And the Sunday school teacher gave us an assignment of memorizing the books of the Old Testament, and then we had to come and recite it the next time we met, the names of the Old Testament, right? And so I did my homework. I remember that I came back next Sunday and I did my homework, and there were 3 girls who teased me mercilessly because I did the homework. And the teacher, I guess unbeknownst, made an unfavorable comparison and was like, well, you should have been like Cassandra and did, your work. And of course, teachers should not do that, because when you compare students unfavorably, it is going to ignite envy. But still, those other students did not have the right to tease me. It was merciless. It went on for a while, and it was very merciless. And so you will begin to see that in your younger years. And and to add fuel to the fire, they made fun of the way that I spoke. And it's interesting because, when I was young, my favorite subjects were history and literacy. And I was a voracious reader. So the librarians knew me because I was always in the library every week getting new books. And so I had a pretty expansive vocabulary at a young age. And so because I did not sound like my peers, and then coming from the neighborhood I came from on the Lower East Side, I was also teased for sounding too proper, so to speak. And so do know that whenever you are pursuing excellence, you are going to be met with hostility. You're going to be met with rage. And I want to share some reasons why this happens. And so when you're pursuing excellence it can inadvertently highlight the perceived shortcomings of others. Now, this doesn't mean that they're not intelligent as well, right? Just like the students in class who chose not to learn the books and do the assignment, they have a working brain just like I have a working brain, right? But they chose not to do the work. And so they were not lacking in any area. I was not better than them, and they were not lacking. They chose not to put in the work. And here's where it gets nuts, because you may ask, how are you mad at me because you didn't do the homework? Like, how are you mad at me because you didn't do the homework? That's a you problem. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And so what begins to happen is, because of their perceived shortcomings, and then the positive praise that you're getting, because remember, when you are, we'll take it back to high school, if you're a student doing everything that you're supposed to do, your teachers are going to have good things to say about you. When there are parent-teacher conferences, they're going to say, like, she's a pleasure to have in class. And other students don't want to hear that. Other students do not want to hear that. They will accuse you of being the teacher's pet. Even if you are not kissing up to the teacher, bringing an apple every day, you are simply paying attention in class, not being disruptive, doing your homework and studying. And so it's interesting, right? So a lot of times, if they have the desire to achieve the same things that you've achieved, but they feel like they're falling short, or they refuse to put in the work. So it's one or the other. They feel like they're falling short, or they just refuse to put in the work. So seeing someone else's excellence and success in a given area, right, just like that high school student, can magnify their feelings of lack and inadequacy, triggering feelings of envy. And remember, envy is a form of resentment. And so a lot of times we use the words envy and jealousy interchangeably, and they are not the same thing. And so envy is tied very closely to resentment. It is tied to coveting. And this is why the Bible talks a lot about thou shalt not covet. Because when we covet, what begins to happen is it creates resentment towards the person who has what we covet. And so the reason oftentimes why you will have people who envy, and then I'm going to give you the biblical perspective by giving you a Bible verse that really hones in on this. But I'm going to give you some key points. Social comparison. We live in a world where people tend to compare themselves to their peers. And so most humans, I didn't say all, most humans naturally compare themselves to others. And when someone stands out with exceptional performance, it can trigger negative comparisons and feelings of inferiority, right? And so I had a friend of mine who was doing a modern dance. And, we were kids at the time. And it was a few people taking the modern dance class. And she just had a natural aptitude for modern dance. And she was the best. She was the best. And the other girls in that class hated her. And she simply practiced her modern dance moves. She had a passion and a love for modern dance. She was quiet, didn't bother nobody. Quiet but pleasant, said hi to everyone, spoke to everyone, wasn't with her nose up in the air. But she had a spirit of excellence plus a natural aptitude to dance modern dance better than the other girls in the class. And not taking anything away from the other girls in the class, but she was the best of the best in that class. And they hated her. And they were very mean to her. And when dance class was over, they would all, say, hey, where you going? What you doing? Let's hang here. Let's hang here. And they would talk loud so that she could hear them and never invite them. And we oftentimes don't talk about things like this. And perhaps you are a parent or a grandparent. You need to prepare your children for this, particularly if you have raised your child to pursue excellence in whatever it is that they do. It could be sports, whatever it is that they do. You want to prepare them for the downside. They already know the upside, that it's going to create opportunities. And so that is a beautiful thing. But psychologically, you want them to be able to build up their mental resilience, their emotional well-being and balance for when they are excluded and rejected, because that also is what comes with the territory. So social comparison. Number 2, a desire for what you have. And so often that hostility, that rage, that envy is fueled by wanting what you possess. And when you excel in a particular area, it can make other people intensely desire the same level of achievement, even if you were the one who is putting in the work. And so, like this girl with modern dance, her whole life was modern dance. So she'd go to school, practice, while everybody else was hanging out, going to the movies, doing this, doing that. She was practicing her modern dance. And so other people can intensely desire that same level of achievement, but there are reasons. So maybe you have more of a natural aptitude, right? So there are lots of singers that sing well, right? But everybody does not sound like Celine Dion, Whitney Houston. They are the best of the best. Barbara Streisand, right? So there's a lot of beautiful voices, but everybody doesn't sound like Whitney. So as you begin to lean into your gifts, because remember, your gifts make room for you, right? And so as your gifts make room for you, the thing that we often are not prepared for, and if we're parents, we don't prepare our children for oftentimes, is once you get in those rooms, it's not always going to be a welcome reception. You'll get in the room. The gifts make room for you, and they put you in the presence according to the scriptures, right? According to the scriptures, your gifts make room for you, and they put you in the presence of great men and women, right? Meaning people who have influence and access and can open doors for you, right? So we know that God opens the doors, but he uses people, right? And so when you're in those rooms, though, right? And this is Proverbs chapter 18, verse 16. You will have other people in the room who resent that you're even in the room. And if you are not prepared for that, you're going to be sourly disappointed. And so you need to be mentally and emotionally prepared for both sides of excellence and success. A third reason is low self-esteem. So when a person has low self-esteem, they're more susceptible oftentimes to envy because they're more likely to interpret other people's successes as a reflection of their own failures rather than putting that same energy, the energy that they're putting towards hating you, they could put that same energy towards really figuring out what their gifts are, figuring out what they're skilled at, closing learning gaps of things that they want to learn, pursuing their interests and the things that intrigue them so that they can develop, right? Some skills come with practice, right? And so you may want to learn the piano. And as you're practicing piano, taking piano lessons, you get better over time. But if you have an individual who is jealous of, envious of the way that you play the piano and won't practice, and you're practicing, every single day, and they're practicing once a month, how can they be upset? They're not putting in the same level of work. They don't have the same level of dedication and commitment to the craft that you do. But when a person has low self-esteem, they're not taking accountability, and they're not looking at what it is that they're not doing that's holding them back. They're only looking at what they desire. And then last but not least is a perceived threat. And so sometimes a person has so much rage and hostility towards you because they feel threatened that your success could take an opportunity away from them. Now, this is why it's important to know that your gifts make room for you. The Bible's very clear about that. Proverbs 18:16. Your gifts make room for you. But when someone has a lot of insecurity and they're easily threatened, then they may begin to believe that the fact that you're in the room is going to take away an opportunity from them, or it's going to diminish their shine. There are some people who want to be the only shiny object in the room, so to speak. I call it the shiny object syndrome. They want to be the shiniest object in the room, and they believe that there's not enough room for them to shine as well. If you look at the sky, there are many stars. There's not just one star. And so there is room for everybody to shine. But when a person comes from a lack mentality and they believe that your success somehow hinders what it is that they want to achieve, they will perceive you as a threat, right? And so taking it back to my friend who was involved in modern dance when we were children, the other girls in the class perceived her as a threat because at the recital she got the lead part during the recital, and so they looked at that as taking an opportunity away, but she also was a lot more dedicated. While they were hanging out and roller skating and doing things that kids do, she was perfecting her modern dance. She was more dedicated to the craft. It's really, it was really that, along with her natural aptitude. So don't be surprised when you're dealing with this. So I want to give you a scripture that'll really cement the point home. And it comes from James 4, verses 2 and 3, the 4th chapter of James, verses 2 and 3. And it says, you lust and do not have. You murder and covet and cannot obtain. You fight and war, yet you do not have because you do not ask. You ask and do not receive because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend it on your pleasure. So look what it says, you lust and do not have. Now remember, coveting and lust go hand in hand. So a lot of people limit lust to sexual lust, but that's not the only thing that you can lust. People have a lust for power. People have a lust for admiration, right? Narcissists constantly want to be admired. And so when you have a lust, an uncontrolled appetite, and you're not getting that thing you lust after, then what begins to happen is you murder and covet. Right now, murder is not limited to a physical murder. When a person slanders another person, that's character assassination. It is the murdering of your reputation. People want to murder your joy. Remember John 10 and 10 in the Bible. John chapter 10 verse 10 says, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. But Christ comes so that we may have life and have life more abundantly. And so a stealing, killing, and destroying is not limited to physical. Someone can try to steal your joy. Someone can try to kill your confidence. Someone can try to destroy a goal that you're working towards, a dream that you're putting into motion. So stealing, killing, and destroying is not only something physical and tangible, but it is also the intangibles like joy, peace, and so forth. So it says you murder and covet and cannot obtain. So even while they're murdering and coveting, they can't obtain. And so the person going back to high school who wants that positive praise from the teacher, but they're constantly acting out, being wildly disrespectful, not doing their assignments, but they hate you. They hate you because they can't obtain the thing they secretly want to obtain. And the more envious they are, they'll say, nobody's envious of you. You don't have anything to be envious of. Yet they're so hateful and spiteful. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And they're never going to admit it because envy is closely tied to shame. There's a lot of shame that comes with admitting that you feel insecure or inferior to another human being. And this is why knowing who you are in God is really a game changer as it relates to envy. A lot of people say they know who they are in God, but I would beg to differ, because when you really know who you are in God, that diminishes feelings of envy, because nobody can make you feel inferior, even if they reject you. Nobody can make you feel inferior, even if they have a problem with the fact that you're in the room. Nobody can make you feel inferior, even if they don't want to give you a place at the table. Baby, you will take your rightful place at the table, or you will create your own table. But nobody can make you feel that way, particularly as adults. We're not talking about children. And so then the scripture goes on to say, you do not have because you do not ask. Right? And so the reason they don't have is because they don't ask. Now, it's important to understand the context of this scripture. And so when you ask and you seek and you knock, it also implies putting in the work. And so you don't have because you're not asking. So asking within this context is not just saying, God, let me pass my test. It's God, let me pass my test. And then you're studying to pass the test. God, let me, and you can fill in the blanks. God, let me do great on this presentation at work too. Okay, but then you're doing the research for the presentation. Faith without works is dead. So you got to do the work of faith. You're the one with a physical body. And so you do not have because you do not ask. Now look what it says by the time you get to verse 3. When you do ask, you don't receive. And then it tells you why, because you ask with wrong motives. And so when you're asking from a place of coveting, from a place of lust, your motives are wrong. So I want the lead the lead dance part in the recital. Why should she have it instead of me? See, that's the wrong motive. You asking from jealousy. She deserves it. She's putting in the work. Why should he get an acceptance letter to college? Because he studied every day and did the work and wasn't cutting up in class, so he was able to get recommendations. His teachers was happy to recommend him because he was a joy, considering all the other students driving her nuts and being for her to have in class. And so when you're asking with wrong motives, when you're asking from a place of entitlement, when you're asking from a place of you feel you deserve it simply because, and that other person is putting in the work, they're working harder, and you want to try to dismiss or diminish their talents, their achievements because you feel inadequate and you're operating in being mediocre, that's on you. That's on you. And so it says you ask and do not receive because you ask with wrong motives. And so a lot of times people are asking with wrong motives. And then that you may spend it on your pleasures. And so it's letting it be known that when you ask, not only are you asking with wrong motives, but when you get it, you are not going to steward it wisely because your motives are not pure. So think about a person who wants a promotion so bad, but they struggle with extreme insecurity. They have to be the shiniest object in the room. And the only reason they want the promotion is to be able to say, nah, I'm doing better than you. They don't want the promotion because they really want to create change within the clients and customers that they serve, or they want to serve their clients and customers at a higher level, or they want to build their income to begin moving forward so that they can do some other things, or they want to grow professionally. And so with this new leadership opportunity, they're able to hone in on their leadership skills. No, when you are asking with the wrong motives, because it is about showing everybody that they're nothing and you're something, right? You get wrong outcomes. So it says you ask with wrong motives that you may spend it on your pleasure. So the outcome is going to be wrong. This is why you can have a supervisor who is making more money than you, has their own office while you're out, with sharing a cubicle with multiple people. And they are so insecure that no one can give you a compliment about your work without them going into a tailspin. Someone can tell you did a great job on the XYZ report. Oh, I really love the presentation you did on ABC. And your supervisor got an attitude with you, or a coworker, for the whole day. Why? Because when they ask from the wrong heart set. They ask from the wrong mindset. They ask with the wrong motives. And when they got it for the wrong reasons, which is going to produce the wrong outcome. This is why, although they're your supervisor, they're really not a leader. So they have the position, right? The position was given to them for whatever reason, but they have no integrity. They don't have no skill set. And so don't be surprised. And so here at Cassandra Mack Ministries, we are a channel that teaches people how to tap into the wisdom of the Bible, the wisdom of the scriptures, to learn how to defeat life's devils, detect deception. Stop letting people play in your face. Jesus didn't let people play in his face. He called out the Pharisees. He called out hypocrisy. And so you are not required to be fake. Walking in love does not mean walking in fakeness or being a doormat. Walking in love also means doing no harm. Like, I'm not doing no harm. I'm not going to play with you though, but I'm not here to do no harm. So prepare your children. Prepare your grandchildren. If you are raising your children to pursue excellence, to pursue their dreams, to pursue their goals, do know that there will be pockets of other students who are not going to like them. It's that crab in the barrel mentality. And so if you've ever went to, a place that sold live crabs, you will notice that when you watch the crabs, and I remember my son was young, maybe 8 or 9, and I took him to Chinatown here in New York City. And we were watching the crabs in the barrel, and I was explaining the whole mentality. And so when you see crabs in a barrel or bucket, right, what begins to happen is as one crab is making progress to get out of the barrel or the bucket, you will see the other crabs jump on that crab's back to pull that crab back down in the bucket or barrel with the rest of the crabs, and will actually step on the crab so that they can claw their way to the top, as opposed to each one just kind of crawling out on its own. And so there's a lot of humans that have that crab in the barrel, crab in the bucket mentality. And so you'll see this in high school again, when it is apparent that you are going to have opportunities that will allow you to get out the neighborhood, if that's your desire, or that will allow you to improve the neighborhood. Sometimes you come back to the neighborhood with resources to improve the neighborhood, whatever your goal is. But whenever it is clear that you are going to get out of the situation that everybody else is in because of your excellence, your climb, it is going to inspire rage and hostility among those who are not secure within themselves, among those who feel threatened by your progress and your success. But that is not your problem. That is not your problem. You keep doing what you are doing. You keep doing what you're doing, but also be mentally prepared so that you are not caught by surprise when people are being unkind and really being actively hostile to you, and making it abundantly clear that they don't want you in the room, making it abundantly clear that they resent your presence. See, in high school, they resent the presence of that student who's doing what they had to do. When I was going to the Sunday school class when I was 10, 11, 12, however old I was back then, those three girls resented my presence every Sunday because I did what I was supposed to do, for no other reason than I spoke proper English and I did the assignments that I was supposed to do. And so I say that to say, prepare your children. If you're raising kids, grandkids, you got nieces and nephews you love and you see they're pursuing excellence, pull them to the side and have these conversations with them. Let them listen to these videos. I know my videos are long, but they're long because they're teaching videos. They're not surface level things. And this is just a fraction. In these public videos, you only get a fraction of the depth, breadth, and width of the teachings. If you really want to go deeper, I would encourage you to become a member of the Cassandra Mack YouTube channel, the Wellness Club tier, because that's the tier that's going to give you access to our Wednesday wellness calls, which happen the first and third Wednesday of every month, where we focus on mental self-care and emotional self-care through a biblical lens. For anyone who's interested, you can click on the join button on any of the videos. You'll also see a link in the video description box. It'll take you to YouTube channel membership, but make sure to join at the correct tier. If you want the Wellness Club calls, because a lot of you asked for that, that's the wellness tier. If you want the Leadership Circle, where we meet once a month by Zoom, that's the Leader Circle tier. And the Leader Circle is geared for those of you who are supervisors, directors, entrepreneurs, you own your own business, you are a leader in ministry, and you really want to begin to up-level your leadership skills. And so we focus on leadership through a biblical lens in the Leader Circle tier, and there are monthly on-camera Zoom calls. So if you are camera shy, then I would suggest you do not join the Leader Circle and just stick to the Wellness Club, because that's a telephone conference call. But with the Leader Circle, you are required to be on camera. It's a strict, there's no exceptions. And so if you know you're camera shy, then that's not going to be a good fit for you. And I would encourage you to do the Wellness Circle, the Wellness Club, instead of the Leader Circle. So what else am I forgetting? So we're having some workshops coming up, some ticketed events. This Saturday, February 15th, having a Zoom workshop open to the public. It is a ticketed event, so you have to purchase your tickets. And the focus is self-love, how to give yourself the love you never got. So if you've never been affirmed as a child, if you were made to feel that you were unloved and you still find that those feelings seep into the other facets of your life, that they're holding you back, that they're affecting you mentally and emotionally, you're going to get some tools, some concrete tools to really learn how to proactively give yourself the love you never got in a godly and a healthy way. The link is in the video description box. It'll take you to my Eventbrite page, where you will see the ticket information if you're interested in getting a ticket. Tickets are going fast, so I would encourage you, if you're interested, it is Zoom. You are required to be on camera. So if you are camera shy, then you probably would not want to come to my Zoom events, because it's not going to be a right fit for you. Second thing coming up, March 29th, the last Saturday in March, I'm having another Zoom workshop, and it is called Discernment 101, how to sharpen your sixth sense, your spiritual sixth sense, for maximum effectiveness and for maximum insight. And so this is going to be a workshop that's going to teach you Bible-based ways to see through the veneer and the social mask that people often present, so that you don't find yourself in situations wasting a lot of time when you need to be able to discern what you're really dealing with. And so this workshop comes with a workbook. So you get a workbook. There's going to be Q&A. You'll be able to interact with the other people on Zoom. And so that will be, again, Saturday, March 29th. And the information, again, will be in the video description box. When you click on the link, it'll take you to Eventbrite, where you'll see the ticket information for those of you who are interested. And last but not least, if you're dealing with haters, I have a book that'll help you. It's called Rise Above the Haters. And it is a Bible-based book that helps you really begin to activate and cultivate what I call your hater-proof powers. And that really is becoming a person who is really able to see past the veneer of people's behavior, to rise above the haters, so that no matter who doesn't like you, no matter who doesn't want to see you win, no matter who has a problem with you, it doesn't stop you from glowing and growing. So that's Rise Above the Haters for anyone who's interested. And the link to my books is also in the video description box. So God bless. Keep being excellent. Don't let anybody hold you back. Know who you are in God, and let's do our best to be kind to one another. We're living in some times where people are not being kind to one another. We don't have to add to the hate. Let's do no harm. Let's do our best to be kind to one another. God bless. Stay alert.